Okay, Herbs and Rye, who's right behind the camera, right there, is on dinner break of the horse event. 10 minutes, 42 seconds left. So he is gonna read the Q&A questions to the first of several Q&A videos. You guys have left a lot of questions. There's gonna be several videos of me answering these questions. He's gonna read them, I'm gonna answer them. Change of pace, instead of just all me on the camera all the time.
Was there anything that used to bother you with dealers or the floor that now you agree with more / be more sympathetic to being on that side now?
No, I was pretty sympathetic to things the dealers need to put up with. You know, throwing your cards in so the dealer doesn't need to reach, putting your bets in pretty close, at least once the action is done, so the dealer doesn't need to reach, things like that. Just and I like when the players correct me on something. I'm not very good at reading the low hands in Omaha 8, and sometimes I'm not familiar with all the kill qualifications, half kill or kill. And if you don't know, if you're playing 4-8 limit, for example, and you're in a half kill, if the kill is triggered, the next hand, if a half kill is triggered, the next hand, instead of playing 4-8 limits, you're playing 6-12. That's half. 4 increased by 50% to 6, 8 increased by 50% to 12. A full kill would be, even if the game is 4-8, if the kill is triggered, then you're playing 8-16. So the limit games and the 08 games have kills or half kills, and sometimes I'm not familiar with the qualifications and the players correct me. And in this vein, even though it wasn't the exact question, one thing that's much different dealing than playing, I can't stand people who tank. They think forever on every decision, and it's absolute hell. Dealing, at least in tournaments, I don't see it so much in cash. It happens in the bigger buy-in no limit tournaments at Orleans. You get a lot of people who are like fake tanking. They just think it's the thing to do, just sit there and do nothing while action is on you. I'm totally fine with that as a dealer, because I'm making the same amount of money whether they tank or not. And when they're tanking, I get to like sit there and give my arm a break and give my mind a break, and I just sit there and wait for them to do something. As a dealer dealing a tournament, I do not mind that at all. As a player playing with people like that, they should be banned from poker.
A 1-2, 1-3 player can make $8 to $12 an hour. A dealer can make 25 to 40 plus an hour. Ain't that the bottom line?
Players can make between 0 and 8 and be profitable. Players can make more than 12, even at the lowest stakes. Yeah, dealers can make 25, dealers can make 20, dealers can be very good and make more than 40, especially in very busy rooms, probably rooms that are very large and new to the area. Thinking specifically MGM National Harbor. I remember a dealer over there saying in his first year he broke 100,000. I could see that happening. Ton of tables, and it was very new. You probably have a lot of recreational players tipping more than other cities where like poker has been common, and players are a little closer to like appropriate tippers. There were a lot of generous tippers in MGM National Harbor when I played there that summer in 2018. So yeah, I don't know, I think it was kind of an underhanded comment to say players can't make money and dealers can, but I'll give an actual answer even if the question wasn't an actual question.
Are cash dealers allowed to give players a sign to ask for the clock if they think a player is taking too long?
No, not at all. Can't do that. I'm sure like somewhere in history a dealer has called the clock on his or her own, which is also not allowed. I understand why a dealer wouldn't like that. You know, it's time like wasted. You know, you could be getting out another hand. But if someone's thinking for a long time, it's probably a huge decision in a large pot. So whether that player calls or folds, you're probably getting a pretty sizable tip in a pretty sizable pot. So if that ever happened, I would not mind. I would definitely not do anything to influence action. And I also, just in my own head, would not mind, because like dealing a large pot is better than dealing like several small pots.
Will you do a video of your biggest tips by hand while dealing?
There's a lot going on in cash games. I'm rarely even like noticing the amount of the tips. I know from that viewer, Netherland, he gave me a $10 tip, said like go buy your favorite cigar. That was very generous. I remember one day in 816 there were several large pots where like it was like 4-way to the river and being split. So even though it's split, you know, you're winning half the pot and you only put in a quarter of the money, or some pots being scooped. I remember getting thrown like couple pinks and a couple grays. Pinks are $2 and grays are $1. I'm pretty sure in one of those hands I got a $7 tip in that Omaha A table on my first or second day dealing cash, but I'm not like keeping track of every single one. But I'm pretty sure that 10 from the viewer in that 1-3 table was the biggest I got so far. So that's a wrap on the Q&A. Several more to come. A lot of questions, I think over 30 questions. Not going to answer all of them, but probably most of them. And this was the first in this series.
Are cash dealers allowed to give players a sign to ask for the clock if they think a player is taking too long?
A sign? I mean, the answer is no.
Who would you rather sleep with, Selma Hayek or Jennifer Aniston?
That's not the question. I read these questions already.